All right, guys, let's just jump right into it. Shit, we're here. We made it back a second time.
We made it.
We actually got him to come back, and you from across the country, right?
Yeah.
Where do you live right now?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Let's go. I've never been to the Carolinas.
It's gorgeous. You got to come out.
Yeah?
I have.
Yeah?
I have. It's beautiful out there.
When's the best time to go to the Carolinas?
Not right now.
Not right
Not
now.
right now.
It's too
It's hot or
humid.
what?
Yeah, I would say probably like, October-ish. Could be, kind of fall. Kind of goes into football season
What's
too.
the resort town, Brennan?
There's Hilton Head.
Hilton Head.
Yeah, or
Hilton Head.
Kiowa.
Yeah, I was thinking of
Yeah,
Hilton Head.
Hilton Head's
Yeah,
nice,
beautiful. Beautiful. But humidity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went from Arizona, the dry heat, to the humidity of
The humidity.
South Carolina.
Man, big change.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good. That's cool.
Well, guys, listen, I want to, first of all, thank you for coming. So we've got
Yeah,
Robb and
there
Brennan.
won't be a third time, Brandon.
Yeah. We got him up to LA.
Second time's a
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we got Robb and Brennan with Flying V. And you guys are killing the game in the marketing business. And so we wanted to kind of jump into a couple things here. I'm going to start off strong. I'm going to say, how does somebody go from a $10,000 investment to start a company, and just a few short years later, you've got over 300 clients, 25 full-time employees, multiple countries? How does that happen?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really the consistency.
Okay.
Right? I'm sure we'll get into it later, kind of how we met, but through sports and growing up playing sports. And, some of the best coaches we had always stressed the little things, consistency, right? So it's small wins accumulating over and over and over and over again, right, that get you to those big wins.
To the big wins.
And when you start to get those big wins, then all the wins tend to start to get exponentially bigger, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
Because, you go back to our first client, it was mom's friend, mom's friend's daughter who was a hairstylist and sold a $500 website.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask, so your first client, you guys decide you're going to start this company. You guys got 10,000, you say, hey, we're going. And so what's your first, initial, menu or a la carte menu? Like, it's websites, what else are you guys offering people?
Yeah, so Robb and his brother originally started Flying V Group, which was web focused, some paid media, dabbling into SEO at the time. And I was running my own company with social media paid ads. And we kind of looked at it, hey, we're kind of going in the same direction. Like, why don't we come together and offer an a la carte thing, right? So that's where, we were just doing at the time kind of those 2-3 main services, paid ads, whether it's Google, Facebook, now Meta, obviously, and website design with a little bit of SEO kind of sprinkled in. But
by the way, what year was this when you guys started?
2016.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of formed the idea 2015. That's when it came to Brennan. I was like, hey, let's use synergies together, right?
Makes sense.
More bandwidth, especially early on, because what we see with agencies is unless you've got some big funding of some sort, it's really, you're starting as a freelancer.
Well,
100%. Right? That's exactly what it is.
I would say, Robb, you guys have good synergy and energy together. Brandon, I've met you a few times now, and we've worked with you and stuff. But, yeah, you got good energy, and I think that definitely helps, build.
And I think between the two of us, too, there's been other even projects. We developed and designed a mobile app back in the day, right, together, always bouncing different ideas.
So you guys were swinging already together.
Yeah, Brennan's a mover and a shaker. I always knew we wanted to do our own thing, too, and I think it goes back to the relationship we built very early on.
You guys met on the field, on the football field.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I used to coach high school football, and the school I coached at first in Orange County ended up being Brennan's high school at the time.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I was in college, so I was only a couple years older than Brennan. And,
but you were his coach?
You were coach.
So you'd make him do push-ups and fucking run around and
come
on, Brennan.
He didn't
let's
listen.
go.
He didn't listen.
Yeah. So we were like a very successful high school. We had 4 championships in a row.
What was the high school, Brennan?
St. Margaret's.
St.
Down in
Margaret's.
San Juan.
Okay.
And Robb came in my senior year. Our coach had just left. There kind of was this kind of wild, wild west now, going from like very strict, focusing on doing the little things right, whether it's every play, every gasser we'd run, touching the line.
Yeah.
And Robb came into that atmosphere where they had the assistant coach kind of got upgraded. And I kind of taught him that way we do stuff and
Right.
how we were so successful. And that
Yeah.
just kind of trickled over towards business, right? It's keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Kiss, right?
I love that.
You had a good foundation,
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah, and for me, they had won
Four
four
in a row.
state or CIF championships
state,
in a
four
row.
CIF,
Oh, nice.
And I had known about this school because
Yeah.
I went to a small high school too, and so like St. Margaret's was like the pinnacle.
Oh, really?
Pinnacle.
Right, like
Orange
that.
County, okay.
That is
Nice.
that's the small school football program.
Is that a charter school?
Interesting.
No.
Just private school.
It's private.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I got there, and Brennan had been the quarterback for all 3 years, right? It's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, I'm not stupid. I did, yeah. I wanted to learn and see how they did things, and I'll never forget it though. The first time I did get there, I thought, okay, I'm gonna get in there, and they're gonna be talking the game at a level that like I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was the complete opposite.
Nice.
It was.
Wow.
I was like, all right, let me see your playbook. They had like 15 plays.
Okay.
I love that.
But the point was we're gonna run 15 plays.
Be very good at these.
We're going to be the best at those
those.
15 plays. We're
Yeah.
going to know how to execute. We're going to know
Nice.
how to go fast,
Yeah.
play faster. And so it was just kind of that simplification
Yeah.
of what is a complex thing.
Right.
Being football is a complex sport.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah,
Brennan's
I
point,
mean-
it stood out, and we take that. We talk about it all the time in
there
our
wasn't any
all hands
secret
meetings.
playbook
Wow.
of like John Gruden's 20,000 pages, right? It was
Right.
15 run plays, pass plays, and then just do it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
over and over and over again, and that's where it's kind of like
That's cool.
There's stupid sayings like raindrops make oceans, right? But that goes back to like doing the little things, whether it's us starting the company,
Yeah.
to slowly building it and putting that into our people, and
Mm.
that mentality kind of is where we've been able. Going back to your first question, like that's how we've gotten from where we started to where we are
To where
today.
you are.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the accountability too.
Yeah.
That was a
Accountability.
big thing that we learned, right? Just because you could have one guy not do what he's supposed to do on a particular play that throws everything off.
100%.
Or Brennan used, I'll never forget it. You running, football, you got to condition, run gassers, whatever else.
Yeah.
If a kid's toe is on the line, doesn't count.
Yeah.
If a kid doesn't run through the line full speed,
By-
doesn't
by-
count.
By the way,
right?
so I played football in high school
Yeah.
and probably wasn't that good. I was actually on the team to like work out and get
position?
girls.
Yeah.
What position,
So,
Brandon?
well, started wide receiver, then I went to
Okay.
DB because I started getting big in
Oh,
high school. I like to
nice.
hit people.
Little
So
safety?
yeah. So
I was strong corner.
But yeah, but gassers. When you said that, I'm like getting flashbacks, and it's been a number of years. I'm like, okay, so what's a gasser for someone that's listening? They want to know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
What,
Sure.
What do you do when you do a gasser?
Well,
Does anybody know?
yeah.
Can we describe that?
You
Is there
know?
like a
No,
Yeah, so
no, that one was after my
Come
time.
on, I know you did a couple.
Yeah.
You have the football field, right? Long rectangle. If you take it and you go from one sideline, you run all the way to the other sideline. You
Yeah.
have to touch,
Touch the line.
and then you
That's
run
right.
through the closest hash. to you.
I see.
So
Okay,
you-
that's
and
right.
that's one.
I think it's 60-something yards.
Something like that.
Is that what it is?
Somewhere right
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
And you had to do it under a certain time too, not
Right,
only just
timed.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it
So
was
there's accountability to his point, right?
That
Yeah.
gets you. Yeah.
Just doing the little
Yeah.
things right and then being accountable. It translates to kind of
Yeah.
everything we do with our clients
Well,
and
so-
business.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just to give you guys a shout out too. I think like when I think back at football stuff, we had a great quarterback and we had a great, defensive, our linebackers were cool stuff. So you kind of wanted to perform to their level, but they were cool guys and stuff. Like I see how that success is happening with you guys in your company because you guys are cool guys too, and people, it feeds off of your energy too.
Yeah, I think it's I played quarterback in high school too.
Oh,
So I mean, I think just having to learn, especially at such a young age, that okay, you have a group of all your friends and you're expected to be the leader.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like
Yeah.
it or not.
The quarterback is the leader of the team. As the quarterback goes, you set the tone, you set the tempo.
Yeah.
Right. So I think leading into business, right, it's kind of that's what not naturally it was learned for sure,
Yeah.
right? But that
But
helped us accelerate.
Right,
those
exactly.
Those
But I think it
characteristics
helps
that you need.
tremendously. The camaraderie, between the
Yeah.
team and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Everybody sees that.
right, and coaching wise for me too, it's like same thing as managing employees, right? I mean,
Yep.
you got one kid who he'll respond to harsh criticism,
Right.
getting on top of him. You got another kid that you gotta be cerebral with him, right?
Right.
You gotta know how to
Right.
address situations, otherwise you're not gonna get the most out of him,
Right.
right? So I
Yep.
think just that human management aspect too.
100%.
In that you can't just put a blanket over everybody and treat them
Right.
the same. You should treat everybody the same way from a being fair and honest and whatever, but you gotta.
But everybody needs to be coached differently.
Exactly.
A
Different
little
personalities,
bit.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and Greg and I always joke around because whether it's with clients that we deal with or people we've hired for our team, we just have different personalities, similar personalities. Of course, we could sit here and talk shit to each other all day and have a good time, but I'm a lot more intense when I really get hurt. Yeah. But I get a lot more intense when I get into business, like in business mode. I just do, and I know. So I've learned over the years, like I have to like pull back from interfacing with too many of our team members at times because I know I'll piss them off because I can be really blunt, like, hey, why the fuck did we just do that? And like Greg, though, on the other side of it is like everybody's best friend. So they'll come in, they'll want to like, and that could be good or bad too, also, because sometimes they'll just be bullshitting for a half hour.
Shit about Brandon,
but a lot of exactly. But no, he really is. I mean, that's you're the secret weapon in that part of it because well, I don't know about the shit talking. Yeah, but I meant
you might want to look into that one.
But I meant like
the emails
none of it's on video.
But I know that if I piss someone off, he can come back and kind of take care of it. So I think that's an important thing about having partners.
You make a good point though, Brandon. Like complimenting. Compliments, and I see that with you guys.
We're very simple. We talked about this last night when we were having dinner. Like it's very much the good cop, bad cop with our employees. I would say more so the good cop, and then I'm the bad cop, right? And I'm similar to you, right?
Yeah.
I get pissed off if something's not done right because I'm so used to doing it this, right? But that's growing pains, right? You need to step away to be able to realize do it on their own, learn, and then adjust,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
And that's where Robb does a good job of like, hey, Brennan's just, this is how he expects it to be done, and like this is the standards we hold ourselves to. Let's learn from this now, right?
That makes sense.
Are you seeing like a bunch of tasks in your mind that have to get done? So that's the reason why maybe you say it's got to get done. You're kind of like stepping on everybody to get it done because you've got a lot of things. You need.
Yes and no. It's more of like I wanted to get done the way Robb and I would do it, right? And then it's slowly teaching these guys how to do it the right way. And Robb and we talked about this literally last night as well. Like we have to step away more. To let them learn, do it, right?
100%.
Not fully pull off the Band-Aid and everything's going to fall apart, but, slowly turn over that.
But that's the challenge,
That's the only way you can grow.
But that's how you're going to scale.
I think it's empowerment too, right? Like as the owners of the business, part of our job as well is to help our employees and team improve and get better. Like you said. Right? So it's not necessarily that Brendan, jeez, why do I call you Brandon? Brandon, yeah, exactly. Tough. Yeah. Not like being a stickler, but it's just, hey, setting the expectations, but then saying, okay, now go learn how to do it, right? And if you can't do it, come back to us, and then at that point, okay, we'll figure out or facilitate.
That's a hard thing to do, though. Most business owners are not conscious enough, or they're not willing to, or it's very hard to you have to learn that skill to be able to say that.
Well, I was going to say, so Robb, that coins this book. It's called The Motive. The Motive. It's talking about two managerial.
I didn't know you read books. You did? You read that thing?
It was in front of me, Brandon. But it's two managerial styles, and one is the responsible manager. He knows it's a hard task. It's going to be a hard task, but he's up to it, and this is what he has to do. Then there's the reward manager. He's just there for the title, to get the money, to sign some checks, and the leadership isn't there. But maybe his personality is. But my point is you guys are definitely the responsible managers. It's a task and it has to get done.
And I think it's just kind of the overall nature of Flying V Group and who we want to be and who we want to work with too. Like the people on our team, we don't want the people that are just gonna coast.
You got to look for excellent people.
Well, my job more than anything, and Brennan's job as well, is we want to get that person to the next level, right? We want to give them more responsibilities. We want them to be able to grow and flourish.
So you want someone that's like ambitious, basically, right?
And same thing with our clients. Same with our clients that we work with too, right?
That makes sense.
Our goal is to grow their business, scale as quickly as we possibly can, and it's a mindset, it's a mentality. And why do we want them to do that? Because that's the best way for us to grow.
For you to grow as well. Well, okay, so when you guys jumped in, you started the company, you got it going, how in the early days, how did you guys get other business owners to trust you guys, right? Because let's be honest, just like in real estate, someone could throw a stick and find 50 realtors. There's a lot of marketing guys out there. So how did you guys get clients to trust you?
Yeah, there's two probably answers to that. One, obviously, just direct people that we knew, right? Like trust. They already trusted us because they knew us.
Right.
I think building that trust with people that didn't know us is, hey, we're going to work our asses off until you get the results that you want, right? And then also transparency is one of the big things too, is you know, we had a lot of people come to us saying, hey, we had a digital ads agency, we had an SEO company. I had no clue what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Right? And so we flip the script and go, hey, we're giving you weekly reports, a live dashboard. You see all of our work. We're not keeping any secret sauce. You know, this is what your bill looks like. This is what's going to Google. This is what our management fee is.
Yeah.
Some people are like, hey, I have an ad agency and they're charging me 10 grand. I don't know how
You
much
don't even
is
know
going
how
to
much
Google, right?
right.
So like transparency, doing the little things, kind of that white glove approach with our clients is where that slowly started to catch on in an industry where it was very kind of tainted at the time. So
100%.
I mean, just getting people to trust us, right? And just putting our names out there.
And I think it's that relationship too that we don't really look at it from like a client vendor standpoint. It's more we want to be a strategic partner.
I love that.
Like
I love
their
that.
business is just as important as my business because if I'm not treating their business the way I would treat my business, then they're not going to work with
You
me
set a
anymore.
good tone. By that
And
relationship.
so, early days, right? We had no money. Even to this day, we don't spend a lot on paid advertisement because that's paid promotion, right?
Right.
We're focused on earned placement. And so one of the things we did early on was focused on organic search engine optimization, showing and telling people how we do it, how we think. Because all that cost us at early days was time. Right. So it was me sitting down, writing a blog article about how we approach X, Y, and Z, Brennan doing the same. And so what started to happen was we get that traffic accumulation. It grows exponentially. And also when someone's searching, you see the paid ads at the top, right?
Of course.
That could be anybody, right?
Yeah.
Versus that guy sitting in that first position he earned his way.
100%. One, the fact that you did that for your own business, then when someone comes to you and say, hey, can you guys help me with SEO on my business, right? I mean, boom, I'm already doing it, right?
And I think with marketing too and agencies, unfortunately, we hear over and over the horror stories getting burned because the barrier of entry to start a marketing business, not much to it.
Right. Go get a DBA.
Throw up a website, say you do X, Y. And so that's where we really wanted to say, okay, we are going to do things differently. We knew we were providing high quality work. So let's put a focus and an emphasis on performance, right? Because we knew we could drive the performance and then obviously the transparency in terms of how we do it. Because we're not worried about someone copycatting because we understand how complex and how much actually needs to get done to where we'd rather enable others to understand how to do this.
It's like the Elon. I'm reading his book right now, like 700 pages. By the way, I've just started.
It's huge.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why don't you start with a smaller one, Brandon?
Well, listen, 75 hard, 10 pages a day. That's 750 pages.
Here we go.
But what a guy. I mean, just starting off in the book, it's crazy. But that's his whole thing. It's like transparency, and like he puts all his stuff out there open source, and he doesn't really care because he's like, listen, I'm already doing my thing. If someone wants to go try to figure out how to build an electric car, good luck. So there's something to be said for that.
Exactly. And going back to kind of talking about football, there's no secrets. There's no shortcuts, right? It's hard work. It's hard work. It's showing up every single day. It's doing it the right way over and over and over again.
So what was the breakout moment, if there was one, or what was the moment where you guys started like saying to yourselves, "Wow, we're getting some traction"? Because I imagine if it's like most businesses, you get a couple clients, you're swinging it out, you're like, okay, whatever. But there must have been at some point where you're like, holy shit, we're getting busy, or holy shit, look what's happened to the bank account, or the clients are showing up.
So I feel like we'll probably be talking about COVID our entire lives, right? But, it was 2020, and we had just hired, I think, our first employee full-time in February of 2020. And we were sitting there like, this is our year, because we were starting to break through some of those problems that businesses have early on. It's like, okay, you want me to send you X amount and a retainer every month? Well, show me what you've done. Well, if you haven't done anything, right, that makes it a lot more difficult,
Rob,
too.
who was your first hire, though? What position?
His name was Eddie Gutierrez, and he helped us manage and still does all of our paid media accounts, and now he's our VP of performance.
Okay.
Nice.
So he started as a one-lane specialist, and built trust with us, and now he oversees all performance-related performance-related marketing. So anyways, COVID hits in March. I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was 45% of just our top line revenue just out the door.
Gone.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you
mean,
couldn't stay open.
yeah, your clients were
Couldn't
calling
stay
you
open.
like,
Why
hey,
would you advertise?
Yeah. We might be dead next week. We're closing shop. Like, we got to post up and chill. Yeah.
yeah, and we can't blame them, right? And
Yeah.
That was a scary time. By the way, I mean, obviously, more than random's not the right word. Like, no one had ever even thought something like that.
And here
could
we
happen.
are running our first business.
Yeah.
And now we got a pandemic thrown into the mix
Wow.
too, where
Yeah.
there's no playbook for that.
You had
either.
some adversaries there.
So what I did, I had a conversation with my dad's good friend. He works with LaPointe Wealth Management, LPL Financial, and like one of their top 1% of advisors. And I asked him what he did in the 2007, 2008 financial crisis.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And he said, Rob, at the time, I said I needed to show everyone that we were bigger, stronger, and we were going to make it. So he said, I doubled down.
I love that.
I doubled
like
down.
that, yeah.
I got a bigger office. I hired more people.
By the way, that takes some balls to do.
I spent more money, right?
Yeah.
But what he wanted to project was, hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
I want everybody
While
to know
everybody else
that-
is-
while everybody else is pulling back. And so I remembered that and I was like, hey, especially in the marketing agency space, right? It's crowded, it's competitive.
It's crowded. I was going to say.
And
Yeah.
so, but what an opportunity when everyone else started to
leaving,
pull
retreating.
back.
Yeah.
We went the complete
So what did you
opposite.
do?
We
doubled
spent
down,
money, we created more content, we hired more employees, and with those clients that we lost, we didn't lose them. What we went back and said was, hey, we're going to do what we can. Obviously might not be everything we were doing prior, but we wanted to bring that same mentality to them and say, hey, we can grow you guys now even faster than we could before. So obviously you got to see the forest through the trees, right?
Of course.
That moment in time, but
Wow,
yeah, and
what
then
a great-
things started to and we bet on ourselves, but it was also strategic in that everything's closing down, right?
Yeah.
Early days, a lot of our clients were professional services, so accountants, lawyers,
So it
financial
switched.
advisors.
It switched.
They couldn't go to
Yeah.
lunches. They
No.
couldn't go to meetings.
No.
So all of a sudden, you had this injection of new demand for digital services.
Yeah.
For
So-
digital
Yeah,
services.
I think
yeah.
the pandemic kind of put a lot of those industries fast forward 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? You have these older guys who always do in-person meetings, lunches.
Yeah.
Now they're learning Zoom for the first time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Half of
Yeah.
the guys probably never would have even done Zoom.
What was around
Yeah.
before Zoom, by the way? What was the other one?
GoToMeeting, I think was
GoToMeeting.
Skype,
Yeah.
Skype,
Yeah.
was, a
Skype
big
was what I was
one.
thinking of.
Skype,
GoToMeeting, yes.
yeah.
But I was thinking of Skype, and if Skype was such a funny thing, if you said, "Hey, let's Skype," somebody would be like, "What the?
Yeah.
What are you, like an 11-year-old kid that's trying to talk to his
Yeah.
cousin?
Yeah,
Like, get out of
yeah,
here, you know?"
like
Like,
AI,
but now it's like Zoom is just a normal
Yeah,
thing.
it's like, hey, let's hop
and by
on.
the way, I still like to meet in person. That's my preference.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I always tell people, if it's not something we have to schedule, just call me.
Yeah.
Because do we have to schedule every single
yeah.
time we have a 2-second
That's when
conversation?
it's-
So
it
it's
was
got a little
fun
over
today.
Zoom
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think maybe that's come back a little bit. But
Yeah.
for a while there, everybody had to Zoom every hour of the day, and I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, so that opportunity worked out, and yeah, I agree with you too. Being in person, right, is so
Much
much
better.
You can
can't beat
you can
that.
feel
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
energy in the room, right?
Yeah.
You can see the emotions.
you can
Zoom,
build
it's
that
like
trust factor
you know,
too,
are,
like-
are they even
exactly.
listening to me?
Yeah.
Like, are they off on
Greg
another
turned his screen
screen
off at the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this son of a gun
like-
was not paying attention this whole time.
Pretty sure this guy's like playing online poker.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
He's got a
Explain
Jack and
something
Coke in
to
the
him,
background. He's
yeah.
like, what is going on?
So that
over
makes
here?
What is Rob talking about?
Yeah.
So
But what did you start seeing as far as business
Yeah.
coming into your
Like
store?
what types of
so
business?
like,
Yeah, what type
we
of
lost
business?
a lot of the brick and mortar companies, right? The
Right.
restaurants, the ones that we either had personal connections with that we brought in as, hey, we're doing marketing now, trust us, right? A lot of them couldn't stay open, but
Right.
now it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Calling COVID a blessing, crazy, right? But
Yeah.
now it's larger clientele, and these guys like wealth managers and all these guys that couldn't be doing that in person now, they have to still be doing that, right? But
Yeah.
you're doing it via Zoom and meeting people digitally through LinkedIn,
Yeah.
So our clientele almost went up from there.
Wow.
rather
That's
than
interesting.
The brick and mortar that we were focusing on, and that's just, I think, allowed us to take 2 steps forward there rather than
Yeah.
going with brick and mortar forever, right? It's just
Yeah.
smaller clientele, smaller marketing budgets.
Client,
large-
your
to
clients
larger,
shifted fast too.
Yeah,
Your clients
in a
shifted.
positive way, which
doubt.
allowed us to
Right.
hire more and
Yeah,
all that.
that's
so.
cool.
Do you think what's more important, marketing or branding? And by the way, I think that those two words get interchanged, by the way, and probably the general public that aren't like marketing experts like you guys. A lot of people don't understand probably even the differences between the two. But in your guys' opinion, what's more important for a company that's trying to really get going, take a nice little market share? Should they be focusing on creating a brand, or should they be focusing on marketing? If they had to kind of pick one to lean hard into.
I would say if you're strategic enough, it doesn't matter what the company's called, what the brand colors are, any of that. If you market it correctly, target it correctly, put it in front of the right people correctly, you can be as effective as possible, right? Rob and I always say we can start up a oil changing company and a website
Tomorrow
and market
have
it,
business.
and then just sell those leads. That's what Rocket Mortgage does. They don't do the mortgages, right? They farm them out. They're just a lead generator. So I think if you can market correctly, I mean, it's just my opinion, like it doesn't matter what the brand looks like, right? Obviously, I still think there's value in it and staying top of mind and getting in front of people constantly.
Would you say marketing can fast track you, but maybe brand keeps you there, or brand makes 100%. Your business maybe more bulletproof in the long run?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the branding piece of it, right? It's who you are. Yeah. It's what you stand for, right? Exactly. So I think you could have a situation where someone does just push forward with the marketing, but then it's like, well, who are you?
Who are you?
What differentiates you and separates you from somebody else? Our branding is quite interesting too. Our roots are Orange County. That's where Brennan grew up. I was born there. Went to Chapman University right in Orange, live there now. And so growing up, I was a big Anaheim Ducks fan.
There you go.
And so, I know. I was just looking at your. Go ahead.
Wait, is it still called the Pond? No.
It should be.
The Honda Center.
It
used to be the Pond, right?
It needs to go back. It used to be Arrowhead Pond, right? And so
the Pond, bro.
Disney movies, right? The Flying V. And so when I was researching, and honestly, I'm not a branding guy I'm not a creative guy. Brennan's way more creative than I am. I'm a numbers guy, right? I'm binary. I'm robot. And but it was like, hey, we're in Orange County, #1, so that's cool. We like sports, we like hockey, right? And then, but when you look up why birds fly in that formation, it's actually quite cool. And that's what we use as our business.
My background.
And why do they, by the way? Because now I'm really curious.
So Rob and Tyler created Flying V Group name, right? Because they love Anaheim Ducks, the movies, right? So I always didn't have a connection to it. I loved hockey. I'm more of a Kings fan, so that didn't really help.
Cut that out.
But I was like, okay.
Edit that, Corey.
I keep getting asked, why the Flying V, and I just hated telling, because of a Disney movie. So I was like, all right. The branding side of me was like, okay, ducks fly in a V formation because they take turns going into the front and alleviate the pain of the wind and the travel and all the other. So we like to come in. This is how I spun it as that duck in the front, right? And we're going to alleviate those pains of marketing and let you go focus on being the best realtor, the best lawyer, the best windshield repairman, right?
What you do, Brennan, makes everything else easier. Like the Flying V, the ducks, the lead guy takes most of the wind and, everybody else, can fly.
And it's a with the migration, I'm by no means a bird expert in any way.
What is it, a birdologist or something?
I don't know. But no, I mean, how much further they can fly, how efficiently.
Exactly.
And so we took that in our business too, and like processes, automation, everything that's digitized now or moving to being digitized. We wanted to bring that to our clients too. Make you more streamlined. Like from beginning to end, your customer's journey needs to be a seamless experience, right? And so I think that's where the branding, and then when you talk about that, when you're pitching or, hey, why should I work with you? Those are differentiators that are led by the brand.
The brand.
Have consumers gotten smarter over time? I mean, have they gotten harder to, capture if you're a business? Do they have more options?
Did that go into like, what are they getting wrong in marketing? What do businesses get wrong?
That's a great question, by the way.
I think just thinking you can throw money at it and it's going to work, right? We have a lot of companies that we work with that aren't the largest companies in the world and don't have the multi-million-dollar monthly marketing budgets. That the big boys do, right? And I think a lot of those guys throw out their budgets and they just take over the market from a high-level standpoint. But the little guys that we work with in comparison, we get very granular and very efficient with our dollars to maximize that. Where, I mean, if you're starting out and you think I can just get by with $1,000, that's not going to happen, right? But we can try and make that $1,000 go as if it was $10,000 being used by another brand. So that's where, like, we have a autoglass company, and they're going up against the Safe Lights of the world, right? $10 million monthly budgets, but they're just targeting autoglass repair near me. We're targeting location-specific, keyword-specific, car-specific sometimes, where we're maximizing that. So I think sometimes people think you can just throw money at it and make it work, but there's a lot that you need to constantly be doing because it is changing. Google's changing their rules. Meta's changing their rules.
Yeah.
So what worked 5 years ago or even 2 or 3 years ago doesn't work today.
Well, what wasn't even allowed to be paid media is now open. Cannabis industries, all that. You know, there's different – it's just changing.
Yeah, and we always say, like, 50% of what we do is the actual, like, execution of the services, right? So, like, okay, this is what we do, the deliverable. The other 50%, though, is we want to be your hired guns.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, we are the ones.
You guys handle it soup to nuts.
We keep pulse on the market. We come in and strategize. We consult, right? We're able to create what we call holistic, comprehensive marketing strategies.
I like that.
I think that's a lot of times what companies get wrong is, you know, they might have just individuals that are working on one piece, but they're not collaborating across others.
Yeah.
You're saying they might have one guy that does some SEO and a guy over here that runs a couple of Facebook ads.
You need to be building an
It's an
ecosystem,
there
for
you
your
go.
marketing. Because at the end of the day with marketing, what we're doing is we're building audiences.
Right.
So like early days, you're, okay, fishing out of a smaller pond. Our job is to, okay, one, fill that pond up first with as many opportunities as we can.
Right.
Then fish
in
out
a
of
bigger
a bigger
pond
and start to expand, right?
Nice.
And so that's a lot of times too, depending on your marketing budgets, they just spread themselves too thin. So my point being is, like, a lot of times, depending on the business, it's like, focus on your own backyard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we have someone, I want to be everywhere all the time nationwide, but that budget doesn't support that actual strategy.
So geographically saturate an area first.
100%. And you already have advantage there because you can talk about the weather with whoever that client is, right?
Yeah.
You can talk about how bad the traffic is on the 405 coming up to L. You know what I mean? You have that relational ability working with those, and then you build that trust to where, okay, now you can start to expand and work with anybody anywhere.
So what about on that same theory, like saturating like what you're doing at the ground levels? What I mean by that is, like, some people will go out and say, okay, I got to start marketing, and they'll be like, they'll go from having nothing to like thinking that they got to be on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, over here, build a website, do some SEO, and just throw a bunch of stuff out. I mean, so is it also important to maybe lean into one or two, whether it's platforms or the way you're marketing, or how do you guys? I mean, I guess that's a great question for how you guys treat a new client.
I think Rob kind of touched on it, is spreading yourself too thin, right?
Yeah.
Where we adopt, and it's another cheesy saying we use, but crawl, walk, run, sprint, right? So
Love that.
Start with a Facebook and Instagram account maybe, right? Do that very well, just like starting just in your backyard and then going nationwide.
Yeah.
Start there, do that well, then expand to the next one, right? Because if you go and try and do every single social media platform, they're all going to be 10% of what they all could be, right? So whether it's even from a marketing perspective, everyone's like, oh, I want to do Google ads, I want to do Meta ads, I want to do SEO, and I want to do email marketing. And we're like, okay, sounds great, but like, what's your budget? And they're like, oh, this. We're like, well, we could do that, and it would be half-assed everywhere, right? Or
watered down.
Let's focus on PPC right now, right, with this budget. Do this very well. Bring in money for you guys. Bring in profit so that when we can then add on another service and add on another service.
Is that hard to convince them, Brennan? Because I feel like they're pushing back because they just want, I just want it everywhere because I'm going to get, way more leads or whatever.
Honestly, when I see it from the sales side, no. Just because a lot of people are just yes people in our industry. They're like, yeah, we'll take your money. We'll do your marketing. Where we come and we basically go, no, this is not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You're coming to me to run the stuff. If you think you know, just go do it yourself, right? You know, if you're coming for my recommendation, I would start here. Let's prove this channel first. Then let's go test another channel. And then let's
common sense.
That's
common sense.
Because I always say I don't want to sound like a salesperson when I say this, right? But in reality, with marketing, you're exactly right. You should never be pulling. If you're pulling back marketing and advertising dollars, that's not a good sign, right? Like, you are consistently adding. Now, you might be adjusting and bifurcating budgets and moving things, but at the end of the day, a lot of these channels, more or less, are going to be, if they're positioned correctly, they're going to be beneficial for your business.
Right.
100%.
Whether they're hitting a different audience, whether someone's on one platform or another, whether it's the time of day when they're browsing or whatever it may be, right? So that's where I think for us, the coaching and the consulting is a differentiation too, because you know, it's like real estate, right? You can go and find a lot of people in real estate, right?
course.
Walk
Yep.
down, talk to 10 people, you're probably
Yep.
going to hit at least one
Yeah.
or two that are a real estate agent of
Yep.
some sort, right?
Or they know somebody in real
Yeah,
estate.
same thing with marketing, right? Because there's a lot of bad actors, unfortunately,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, like Brennan was saying, they say yes all the time.
right,
Yeah.
and so I think, and that's where like stressing, you know, we want what's best for the business, and we're going to be not just, we don't see ourselves necessarily as marketers. Like, yeah, marketing's what we do. We're business guys.
Yeah.
Marketing's the vehicle that's our lane, right?
Yeah.
That's where we fit in, but we think like business people,
Which I think is
like
important.
CEOs.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
And we've tried to flip
Yeah.
the script there in terms of like a lot of agencies do say yes. They bring you on and they hand you off to a project manager who doesn't know anything
Yeah.
about it, and
Right.
they're gone, right?
Right.
So like when we meet with people, we flip the script. We're a top-down approach. They're meeting with either Rob or myself.
Right.
We're learning about their business. We're giving them basically free consultation, right? And then going,
Yeah.
this is what we would do if I were you, right?
Then you have your team come in to support on the backside
Yeah,
to
exactly,
make
yeah.
it happen, but you guys start with the client.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And then from there, for us, it's processes and control, right? Quality control. So that's where we've leaned our business into, and I'm really proud of this with Brent. Like, I'd say we operate from like a tech standpoint the way a really, really big business
Nice.
would, if not better than a
Yeah.
lot
Wow.
of big businesses. So like we come into businesses that are 2, 3, 4, 10 times bigger than us, and the way they're operating, they've just done the same thing over and over and over again, to where, you know, we're not just marketing, we're also making you more efficient, right? Which that's saving you time, that's
Yeah.
saving you money,
100%.
that's creating that return on whatever it may be that you're doing from a marketing and advertising standpoint.
Is AI playing a role in that? Are you guys getting involved in
Just
AI?
gonna ask that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it.
100%. I mean, I think it's one of those things, like if you're not leaning into AI, you're doing yourself a disservice,
So
right?
do you use it in your, you know?
Yeah, so my shirt, Dave's gonna be happy with me.
Shout
So
out to
Dave,
Narada.
yeah, so Narada actually, yeah, we're both strategic advisors with that company, and I mean they're doing some incredible things just from workflow automation, and they're actually working alongside of us and our team to see, hey, how can we make your processes more efficient? So an example might be you're on a call, recording that call, and then taking, okay, whatever those action items are, and Narada is actually facilitating to where it's creating our support ticket in Jira. It's
Oh my
automatically,
God.
Wow.
it's
Wow.
automatically tagging employees that need to see what that call was. They weren't even on it, and I haven't even had to spend any time actually doing that work.
They're like it's like a full-on assistant that just like knows what to
Yeah.
do and goes.
It'll read
Wow.
your email. If you say, hey, Brennan, let's schedule a call for next week, 5 o'clock, it'll pop up saying, hey, I checked his calendar, your calendar. Do you want me to send the meeting?
Or we need an alternative time, and
Yeah.
press the button, fired.
Well, if we
off.
get this, we're not going to
More
need you in the office
emails,
anymore, Greg.
more emails.
Greg, this is going to replace you very
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah, you
I'll
got to
put
be
my
careful.
feet in the sand. I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to that point, though, like they're talking about AI taking away jobs and all that, you're still going to need people to run the AI, right? This
Of
is
course.
more proactive AI, but AI in general, going to what you were asking about, you still need people to know how to use it. Because you can, ask it things, but if you
you don't know how to
utilize
use
it
it.
correctly and ask it the way you're supposed to ask it,
Yeah.
that's where we can.
Well,
can
and also,
benefit there.
it can also be detrimental too. And so, like in our space, right? People are like, "Oh, AI now. I can just go on ChatGPT and tell it to write me an article about whatever and make me look like an
Yeah,
expert."
yeah.
But here's what's happening: is everybody can do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so right now, there's more content being created faster than ever. The problem with
Yeah.
AI is where it's coming from is as small as it's ever been, because it's actually being sourced from ChatGPT, right? Those language,
Right.
large
So everything
language-
that's coming out there is like from one little
Yep.
brain, if
so,
you will.
So
but it's
going
not.
back, it's like, okay, well, you need to write that content, but instead of saying how ChatGPT would do it, which it's going to be the same for everybody,
Yeah.
how does Flying V Group do it?
Yeah.
Right? What is your process that makes it different,
Yeah.
differentiated? And so I think it presents a lot of great opportunities,
Opportunities.
but especially, workflow automation, research, right? There's a lot of things that you can do much
With
more
it.
efficiently with AI.
Well, I think that's something like in our business. We haven't really used AI too much. And for me, I think it's like I'm very intrigued about it. I've been a little slow to kind of like push it, I think as part of the team.
Yeah.
And really only because I'm kind of waiting to kind of see what it does, particularly in the real
does.
estate space.
Sure.
It sounds like, it's doing great things, but man,
things are changing every day.
Right. And I guess once we kind of find out, see what's kind of happening in the landscape,
Dig in,
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of you're not going to replace humans. And and we don't. Does anybody? Right?
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll still be here, guys.
And does anybody want that? No one.
This
wants
is like,
that,
yeah.
Right? So I think you
John
still
Connor,
are going to
yeah,
have
exactly.
to have some sort of human interaction, right, and
100%.
involvement.
Right.
But it's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's another
It's
tool.
just another tool.
And if you're saying, it's not. Well, then
It's like someone being afraid of using a computer back in the day,
Exactly.
or the internet. What
when
the
the
hell's
internet
that?
came
Yeah.
out, right? You
Yeah.
had people that were saying
What's
this
the
is going to be a
internet?
game
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah.
Well, we originally talked about, like, Zoom calls is great, but you can't beat an in-person meeting, right? You can never
100%.
erase that human
Yeah.
element of
Yeah.
doing a task, or with us building trust to have someone give us their marketing budget,
have to,
right?
yeah.
Right? You can't have a robot just go out and mass get thousands of dollars from people. Like, that's just not going to happen.
It helps, but it's not the end all of end alls. You know, you have to go out and, like you said, Brennan, like, you know, we're here now. You know, I mean, you feel the vibe
For sure.
You know?
So what about? So I know you guys have a unique, I guess, program you guys offer there, where clients can come to you, and there's certain situations where you guys will take equity in the business in exchange for your services versus all the fees you would normally charge. Maybe unpack that for me. I'm really curious of how that works, how many of those you've done, roughly speaking, and how it's worked out.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that trust aspect. It's kind of a recurring word in this whole talk, right?
Yeah.
It's not only are we going to open up our books and how we do it, we already do that with a lot of our clients, but we'll do that even more in terms of how much we're paying for all of our employees to run this account. If it was full price, and if, hey, we can pull back that whole entire cost from our side and do a profit share split with you or something like that, where your now initial market entry dollar amount is very minimal, right? Because you have a free marketing team, right? So that's where it just needs to make sense, right? I can't remember. We've done probably around 10 of them, I would say, roughly. But it just needs to make sense where we trust them to open up their books, and we can see their books. We'll show you how we're run.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it also has to be a fit in terms of product, scale. I mean, obviously trust with the person, but it's been fun. There's been different verticals.
What are some of the businesses that you guys have done that with?
Yeah, so Narada's one of them.
Nice.
And again, it goes back to that strategic support, right? But it's also for us long term.
Yeah.
It's long term. Yeah.
That's
like,
cool.
You know, retainer-based stuff is great, right? It pays the bills for sure, like tons of value. We have great clients there. But it's like, okay, if we can come in and provide more value, be a part, and help you grow and accelerate, and we
100%.
share in those wins too.
It's like a VC department in the company, right?
Exactly.
You know?
So, and yeah, I mean, we've even had situations. Actually, recently, we're about to an oil type deal with an oil recycler. Right, we're actually putting dollars into the investment and providing the marketing support because now it's like, hey, we're confident. We like what you're doing. We're confident in ourselves that we want to provide valued services at rates that help us get the ball rolling, and if we do what we can do, it's much bigger wins for all of us. At the end of the day.
So they pay some minimal fee per month or whatever, but the play for you guys is down the road, however that may be.
Yeah, and I mean for us, like we look at our agency and our business, it's a portfolio. Right? It's an investment.
I like that.
It's an investment portfolio,
Yeah.
right? And so early on, you know, everyone's telling, hey, niche up, right? And what we've done is actually the complete opposite.
Sometimes people over niche. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you can do, you know, it probably would make life a lot easier, or would have made life a lot easier, especially early on.
Right.
But now we look at it, it's like we're so diversified across different industries, and like if
That's
there
cool.
are the ebbs. We're much more flat.
You're not just like,
we're
boom.
predictable.
And it makes life more fun, I think. It's like we're solving puzzles every day.
Challenges.
What's
right?
your industry? What's your service? What's your problem? Now we take it back to our team.
Yeah.
More
How do we
excited to
put
do it
this
that
thing
way.
We have a
together,
lot
right?
more, you know, knowledge and experience.
A lot of different industries I never would have thought I
If
would
you
have
were
been
just
expert in.
in the insurance business, you know, oh God, that's
fertility,
boring.
insurance, you know, there's so many different
and it's just, you know, and it's unique opportunities everywhere, and that's where we want to be supportive too. That's
cool.
It's
That's really cool.
And the challenge of it as well. You're constantly dealing with new challenges, but you're still leveraging your past experience and your foundation of knowing what to do, and you just got to apply it in
I would
different
think
ways.
a lot of companies would take you guys up on that.
Yeah, we hope so.
No, seriously, like it's such a cool thing, you know. I mean,
Yeah, and it just goes back to, again, how do we win together?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
going
Yeah.
back to football, we're competitors, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not running
Yeah.
around on the
But
football
team
field
players.
anymore. But
Yep.
Team.
Yep.
yeah, exactly. It
There's
is.
no
it's,
I in team.
It's the
Yeah.
team aspect, and hey, we can do more together.
Totally.
Man, I love that. Well, listen, guys, it's been an inspiring talk. I know we're running out of
Yeah.
time. I know the studio is a little booked today, but we had a great podcast
Yeah.
here. So before we depart here, first of all, how do people get in touch with you guys? Where do they find you if they want to look you guys up?
Yeah, website's great, flyingvgroup.com.
Okay.
That's where a lot of our information about our team, content, check out our blog, subscribe to our newsletter. We're sending weekly newsletters and any new content. All social media is just at Flying V Group, and then personally, myself and Brennan too. LinkedIn's big one, Instagram as well, just at Robb Fahrion and Brennan Smith. Did I miss that?
Yeah. Thanks. No, I think that's it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you heard it right
Thanks
here.
so much, guys.
Get in touch with Flying V Group. Let's go.
Yeah, we got to
Come
do
on,
this
guys.
again. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Hey,
sure.
appreciate you coming on.
100%. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. All right, that's a wrap. Bam.